Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Innal hamdalillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nastahdihi wa natubu ilayh. Wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lahu. Wa ashhadu anna sayyidina wa nabiyyana Muhammadan 'abduhu wa rasuluhu wa safiyuhu min khalqihi adda al-amanata wa nasaha al-ummah wa jahada fillahi haqqa jihadihi hatta tarakana ala manhajatil bayda layluha kanahariha la yazighu 'anha illa halik sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman katsiran ma ba'd. Alhamdulillah, first of all we would like to praise Allah, the Almighty, who has given us the health, prosperity, and the most two important things is Iman and Islam, so we can meet up together in this prestigious session, inshallah. We would like on Islamic economic training camps. This session is your first session in Sabah. So I bet no. So you are very unlucky. Because I always come to Sabah and I can see dolphin. So maybe this dolphin shy hit me. Session. We will have the talk 3. Yeah? We will have talk 3 about the implementation of Maqasid al-Sharia in the development of Islamic economic theory, case of several index in Islamic development economics, will be presented by Associate Professor Dr. Irfan Shawkibek for our presenter. The present is yours. Please give applause to Dr. Irfan Shawkibek. Okay, I apologize, I forgot to introduce myself first. So my name is Muhammad Shawki bin Armia, and then this is our presenter Irfan Shawkibek. So we have two Shawkis here. So this is very rare opportunity that we can catch up two Shawkis in the one case. And also I had a chat with our presenter, Dr. Irfan Shawkibek. He also loves Manchester United as well. So we are fans of Manchester United. We both went to the stadium too. So that is the intermezzo of this session. Inshallah, we will start the session by reading some CV. So Irfan Shawkibek is an associate professor at the Department of Islamic Economics, FEBI University. So he was appointed as the Dean of the Faculty of Economics in 2023, Faculty of Economics and Management in FEBI University. And from January 2021 to March 2023, he served as a commissioner at the Indonesian Wakaf Board, PIWI. In addition, Irfan Shawkibek also served as the Executive Secretary of the World Zakat and Wakaf Forum, WZWF. And also he is an Executive Council member of the International Association for Islamic Economics, IAEI. And also he independent commissioner of PT Prudential Sharia Life Insurance. So Irfan also completed his bachelor degree in agribusiness at IPB University, and his master in Islamic Economics at International Islamic University Islamabad 2005, and then he was graduated in Islamic Economics at International Islamic University of Malaysia in for the publication, Financial Quebec has published 17 books and 25 book chapters, not to mention the journals, the Scopus Index articles, and so on. So this is a very prestigious achievement, I think, and we are lucky to have him among us to talk about the Maqasid Sharia for the next session. So, without further ado, we would like to please Mr. Shokibek, the time and place is yours. Okay. Thank you very much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil karim wa ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilman nafi'a warzuqna fahman wasi'a. The Honorable my gurus, Dr. Usman, Allah protect you always, of Norma, of Gairu, and my colleague, Dr. Hafaz, and also all my brothers and sisters who are attending this camp. Alhamdulillah, I'm surprised really to have this wonderful place. And in this very good opportunity, actually, initially I was given the task to share with you about the Maqasid Sharia in Islamic economy. But since this topic is very, very tough for me, and all the masters are here, so all the experts are here, Jamil, Dr. Hafaz. So I don't want to give something that is already known to Dr. Hafaz. Have to make some difference. And what I'm trying to say now is that I try to share with you about our real effort to produce new knowledge in terms of Islamic economics, particularly in its branch called development economics, that has been widely used in the practice of Islamic social finance institutions in Indonesia, and has also inspired other countries, especially those countries that are already joining the World Zakat and Wakaf Forum. We have around 41 member countries. So that's why I'm trying to share with you this one. This topic gives me more confidence. And I don't want to repeat something which is very philosophical, and Dr. Hafaz and Jamil are the expert for this one. So why this is very important? You know, one of the, what you call, challenges and sometimes questions that are always asked by our colleague from the conventional counterpart. They always say, what is actually Islamic economy? Of course, when we talk about the philosophical aspect, the epistemology, the ontology, of course we can prove the difference. But when it comes to the issue of axiology, when it comes to the issue of the actual implementation, what are the standard, the measurement standard that is used by Islamic economics when we talk about Islamic economic system? This is the challenge, because it's quite difficult for us to give, or to provide a different approach which is closer to the Quran and Sunnah, and at the same time can provide effective solution. That's why our humble effort mostly focused on the Islamic social finance sector. And I hope by sharing this, maybe some of you may have other approach for other branches of Islamic economics. And inshallah, in the near future, we have just completed our research on the inclusion of Islamic social indicators as part of the soundness level of banking industry. And we are in the discussion with the leaders of OJK, and hopefully if this is accepted, it will change also the scenario on how to measure the soundness level of Islamic banks. Because normally today, when we talk about the soundness level, we talk only financial ratio. Yeah. Now we try to change it, and some fundamental element is also accommodated in the current financial strengthening and expansion of financial sector law, which is called omnibus law. The law that can change other law and make other law obey this law. So this is the super law. And in this super law, we have, alhamdulillah, incorporated certain significant element. So hopefully, this will also create a new approach to the Islamic banking industry, at least started from Indonesia, and hopefully it can be spread to other parts of the world. Because now we are in the process to convince the authorities, the policymakers to adopt this. And if this is successful, this will be a new approach. I cannot inform you. We try to extract the messages of the Quran. We try to extract the messages of the Quran and Sunnah and try to derive a comprehensive body of knowledge. And at the same time, one of the most significant challenges for us is the dominance of neoclassical thought, neoclassical school in various faculty of economics. I don't know, in Malaysia, maybe in Malaysia also the same, dominated by neoclassical school of thought. Yeah. And including in Indonesia also, we are dominated by neoclassical school of thought. Development economics is just a subject, yeah? Although in Germany it is a school of thought. So, of course, that will give us a challenge, a very significant challenge, because most of us, our mindset has been trapped within the neoclassical framework. And when we talk about Islamic economics, sometimes, not sometimes, many times, in reality, this trap still exists. That's why many critics come to us. Of course, we are not saying this in front of the public, but since this is a very limited number of scholars, yeah, this should be our challenging issue. And on the other hand, also, we are facing a serious lack of empirical experiments, yeah, in the formulation of economic policy of the country. That's why in Indonesia, for your information, our Ministry of National Development Planning has just issued a draft for the long-term national development planning for 2025 until 2045. Why 2045? Because it will be 1 century of our independence, 1945 to 2045. So what happened? Accommodation of Islamic economics is very limited. That's why we use our IIUM association, the Indonesian Muslim Intellectual Association, to share, to advocate the importance of inclusion of Islamic economics in the long-term national development planning that will be discussed by the Parliament and that will be passed by the Parliament at the end of this year. Yeah. So, what does it mean? It means that if it is not accommodated in this long-term national development planning, of course, the room for us to have empirical experiments in terms of policy formulation will also be limited. Yeah. So that's why this is another important aspect that requires our attention. And of course, the last one, the problem of human resources. Yeah, and what we are trying to do, yeah, when we talk about the real case, of course, the departure point will be the maqasid al-sharia, the objective of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed the sharia to us. Of course, I believe all of you already know about this, and as I said, Dr. Rafas and Alhamdulillah, Prof. Aslam has not arrived yet. If he's here, so I will skip totally this part. Of course, I will not go into the detail, but this should be kept in mind, because when we try to formulate whatever the theories that we are going to produce, this should be kept in mind. Another important thing which is very interesting to me is the discussion made by our beloved professor, yeah? Professor Rashid Kamal, in his paper written in the year 2014. He said that when we talk about the Sharia, actually Sharia should make the Muslims cleverer than the non-Muslims. That's why Muslims are obliged to learn, to find the wisdom, to find the reasons, to find the essence of the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the saying of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah. That's why a good Muslim is not only doing the taqlid things, just following without any further, inquiries on the reasons behind that. That's why we need to understand this, and we need to dig deeper and deeper and try to relate it with the realities that we are facing. That's why the objective of Sharia is to request us, to think more and more. That's why Allah has challenged us in many ayah for us to think. Another important thing is, it cannot be said as Sharia, including it cannot be said as Islamic economics, if we are failed to promote justice. Because the basic of the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is on justice. Justice is a very important element. And we cannot claim that it is Islamic economics if justice does not exist. And the last one is the preservation of maslahah. At the end of the day, the Sharia will give us the maslahah. It will end up with maslahah. So, Islamic economics at the end of the day should also provide al-maslahah, al-maslahah al-amma. So this is a very important thing. That's why when we talk about FEBI, when we talk about halal or haram, it's not sufficient to define Islamic economics, because it has to contain the element of justice, and at the end of the day, it has to create the maslahah. So these concepts need to be, integrated within ourselves, internalized within ourselves, so that when we try to produce something, the new knowledge, the new approach, the new methodology, Yeah, so these things should be part of our what we call our effort, cost. Okay. Can we go back? Okay. What are the issues? There are many issues that need to be solved. We are facing the problem of poverty. Yeah. We are facing the problem of inequality, corruption, moral degradation, you name it. You can find maybe more than 1,000 problems that we are facing today. Can Islamic economics solve this one? Theoretically as well as practically. Because if we are only trying to find the solution theoretically, in Indonesian term, it is called omdo. Omdo. You know omdo? Yeah. Please inform our brothers from abroad. What is omdo? Omdo is a kind of food.
NATO.
Oh no, yeah. NATO, no action, talk only. Big mouth. Although the mouth is small. And now the world also agreed to achieve SDGs in 2030. Now emerge also the ESG framework. Yeah. Carbon trading, for instance. We have to prepare now Islamic carbon trading. Carbon trading in our capital market will be launched by next month. So after that, we're going to have the Islamic one. So this is based on the ESG framework. There are many issues that need to be tackled. And if we are not carefully presenting our position, I'm afraid the ESG issue, which is basically Islamic, yeah, to some extent, basically Islamic. If we cannot present our position correctly and precisely, maybe the future of Islamic, the room for the future of Islamic economics will be more limited even. That's why we need to tackle these issues. People are expecting that we can provide solution to global economic challenges so we can achieve falah as the ultimate goal of Islamic economics. That's why, given this situation, given these conditions, and also my area of interest, that's why for tonight's discussion, I prefer for us to discuss Islamic development economics. I will claim it is Islamic development economics because philosophical debate, yeah, of course, all of you we can debate on this matter. Even Islamic economics as a separate discipline, still questionable, still debated by others. But for me, Islamic economics is a separate discipline. It's different from the conventional economics. That's why we have to prove. Yeah. We have to prove from the beginning that it is different. Yeah, because I believe that this is the correct term. This is the correct term. For me, maybe, of course, we need to write a paper on this one. The emergence of Islamic development economics as the son of Islamic economics. Because I can prove it, the approach will be different. So what is Islamic development economics? You will not find this anywhere except in my presentation slide. Yeah? This analysis, this definition is based on our experience until today, at least. Yeah. at least until today. So, what is Islamic development economics? It is the branch of Islamic economics that studies and analyzes, etc. Development process and its determinants, along with formulation of development policy that fit the needs of the society based on the Quran and Sunnah. This is my definition. Development process, we analyze it. And its determinants. What are the factors affect the formulation of the policy? It's very important, of course, to be based on the Quran and the Sunnah. And when you talk about the approach, of course, this is at least Ifatullah fil Ard, because Khalifah and Khilafah, it's very near. I avoid to use the term Khilafah. And Tazkiyah, purification. And the dimension of development should accommodate physical, material, and also moral, spiritual. And this will be reflected in the development indicators. Now what happened in the conventional economics? Their dimension is physical and material, and they are consistent with this dimension. That's why all the measurement standards are created within the physical material framework. For instance, when we talk about the poverty index, we have headcount index, which measures the number of the poor living below the poverty line. What do we mean by the poverty line? It is the standard of poverty in terms of currency that shows the minimum or the minimum amount needed for a person so they are not, not to be called as poor. In Indonesia, and I think in Malaysia also the same, that this poverty line is measured based on basic needs approach, which accommodates food-based and non-food-based poverty standard. This is the general basic needs approach, because when we talk about basic needs, normally basic needs is divided into two: food-based and non-food-based. In Indonesia, the non-food-based is measured based on around 51 commodities for the urban poverty and 47 commodities for rural poverty, what we call as poverty standard. And what happened to the moral aspect? No measurement standard on that one. When we talk about the depth of poverty, similar things takes place. The depth of poverty is measured by poverty gap, income gap ratio. The severity of poverty is measured by SAT index, Foster Career Perbagi index, which all talk about the material dimension of development. They don't care if your moral is degrading. The moral standard is going down. But for us, it's not the case. Development should be centered on human. And the human should possess certain characteristics as described in the Quran. And that's why when we talk about development, at the end of the day, it has to create the criteria or the characteristics of man as described in the Quran. So this is the different approach. And it has to reflect it with the indicator of development itself, because government, the state, is working based on the standard. And of course, it will also affect the way government delivers the poverty alleviation program. If moral aspect is not considered, you will not find any moral program, you can say, spiritual-based program in alleviating the poverty. So that's why this is the dimension, the main focus also on, of course, on human being, social welfare, and the role of the state is balance of the state, and we also promote the role of private sector as long as it is based on justice. Remember, according to Hashim Kamal again, Yeah, we have to promote justice as part of the implementation of Maqasid Sharia. So the objectives of Sharia is not achieved when injustice takes place. Although when we talk about halal haram, it is halal, but if halal, of course, we need to redefine halal as well. Halal should also accommodate justice. So if injustice is still there, to me, it's not halal. So this is the approach. And why development measurement standard is needed? At least there are 3 reasons here. First one is policy direction. What is the policy direction? Where the policy will go? What is the destination of this program? Everything will be based on the measurement standard. When we are evaluated by the SDGs, certain indicators, criteria that have to be achieved in the year 2030, it means that our policy will direct the development process towards the achievement of the 17 goals of sustainable development. That's why policy direction will be based on the indicator. And if our approach towards development neglect spiritual aspect, moralities, etc., so maybe at the end of the day, the development may create and produce zombie. Advanced, knowledgeable, but empty. Spiritually poor. And what will happen? Of course, destruction will take place. And the measurement standard also will affect the allocation of resources. How the government, for example, produce or create its budget, allocate the state fund into the national budget. Priority of development will be affected by the measurement standard. That's why it's very important for us to do this. And the last one is on the approach itself. Normally, in case of Indonesia, most of the poverty alleviation program is a light hit and run project. You allocate certain budget, you just give the people money, and then finish. No supervision, no education on how to wisely use the money, for example. No proper education for the people, because in that run, as long as you can ensure there is government to people transfer in the form of, for example, cash assistance, direct cash assistance. So once it is delivered, the government task is finished. They are called responsible. We have fulfilled our responsibility. And why that happens? Because of the measurement standard, which is not covering the spiritual direction. So this is, and now I would like to share with you at least 3 measurement standard that has been widely used. The first one, I always said, is my model with my wife, Prof. Norma student, Burad, has also used this one. And I think last month I also has examined one of the IBF student of Peru, using this Zaides model. So how we construct this one? We develop. Alhamdulillah, this model is developed by IIUM alumni. Me and my wife, we both alumni. So what we are doing here, when when my interaction with various poverty and inequality standards, and when we try to implement this one, because my thesis, my PhD thesis, using this, I applied our 9 index of poverty and inequality. And to me, one of the most powerful inequality index was Atkinson Index, because it can capture the social welfare loss due to unequal distribution of fund. So if the distribution of fund is not equal, unequally distributed, then it will reduce the social welfare loss. This standard can capture that one. That's why no countries using this Atkinson Index. Not Indonesia, not Malaysia. It's hardly find countries using this, because we can find out the social welfare loss created by this distribution of wealth and income. So, what we need to do? First, we identify that poverty is measured based on the ability to fulfill basic needs. And what are these basic needs? When it comes to the Quran describes basic needs not only material aspect, but also spiritual aspect. We can also observe in various hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad SAW that a greedy person is considered as poor person, meaning that greediness is not its spiritual aspect, but it will give material impact. Because greediness can lead to inequality. Greediness can lead to even deeper poverty. So, we conclude that the basic needs fulfillment should cover the two dimensions of development. And it will affect the way the zakat authorities, because I apply this initially in the zakat institution because I was attached with the National Board of Zakat, Basnas. So I use this privilege, Basnas, as my lab for my experiment to apply the measurement standard that hopefully give good impact. And alhamdulillah, it gives good impact. Yeah. It gives a good impact. Because it changed the way we create the programs, the distribution programs. Yeah. The way we create the best approach for the zakat programs. It really gives us a different approach. So, by accommodating this, alhamdulillah, in the real practices, we can see the difference. And I dig deeper about the Quranic concept, yeah, on the ability of man. Observe that there are 4 types of man. Yeah, there are 4 types. And everything has its own dalil. Yeah. Welfare one, meaning that he is able to fulfill the material as well as the spiritual needs. Many terms used by Allah in the Quran. For instance, in Surah 16, verse number 97, Allah used the term hayatan tayyibah. Hayatan tayyibah. Man amila salihan min dzakarin aw untha wa huwa mu'min falanuhyiyannahu hayatan tayyibah wa lanajziyannahum ajrahum bi ahsani ma kanu ya'malun. What is hayatan tayyibah? If we look at the tafsir of Ibn Kathir, Ibn Kathir cited the hadith of the Prophet, in which Rasulullah said, "Qad aflaha man aslama wa ruziqa kafafan wa qanna'ahu Allah bima ata." It is lucky those who are aslama, man aslama, Muslim, submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa ruziqa kafafan, he is given a rizq kafafan. You know kafafan? Exactly, precisely. Allah gives what you need. You need to go to Umrah, Allah gives you the money. Alhamdulillah. So you can go to Umrah. You need to pay the tuition fee, Allah gives you the money. Yeah, so Alhamdulillah, you can pay tuition fee. you need to marry someone. Allah gives you money so you can marry someone. So it's called kafaf. Exactly. And then later becomes had al-kifaya. Kafaf. Sufficient. And he has qana'ah. Yeah. So this is just example of wealth. And the second one, they are the people who materially rich, spiritually rich but materially poor. Like in the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 155, 156. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ وَنَقْصٍ مِنَ الْأَمْوَالِ, lack of wealth. But he has a very rich spiritual because he is part of the servant. The third one is there are people who have, materially very rich, but spiritually very poor. An example of this type of person is portrayed by Allah in the Surah 6, verse number 44. فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهِ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَتَّى إِذَا فَرِحُوا بِمَا أُوتُوا أَخَذْنَاهُم بَغْتَةً فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْلِسُونَ. So sometimes we wonder, a person, very rich conglomerate, becomes the parliament member and he's still corrupt. Why? It's because of this ayah there. And somebody asked me, I always pray, but my business always fail. He never prayed, but he's very successful in business. So I said, you are in a different ayah with him. You are in the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 155. So be patient. If he does not realize Allah's teaching, he will be trapped in this ayah. And the last one, there are people who are materially poor, spiritually poor, and we call it absolute poor, absolute poverty. An example of this has been mentioned, for example, in the Surah Taha, verse number 124. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ means you disobey with your, you are aware that you disobey Allah. A'rada, it's very active against the teaching of Allah. And then you're given ma'ishatan donka. Ad-Dahak says ma'ishatan donka, meaning that is food. So, given this, we construct this one, the quadrant, and then we construct the spiritual needs indicator. We construct this one to make it more convincing. We construct the formula, the index. So, something like that. So if I talk in front of the Pesantren people, Islamic boarding school people, the ulama, I will show them about this one. The formula. But if I talk in front of the economic students, I will talk about the ayah. Just like what I did now. I give you the ayah. I give you the meaning. I derive from the tafsir. Yeah. So this is what we are doing. Alhamdulillah, this has been practiced widely. And Alhamdulillah, with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this changed the scenario, changed the approach used by all zakat institutions in Indonesia. We focus. And after this, we create many other indicators, index. So for the subject economics of zakat, don't worry, brothers and sisters. You have a lot of materials that can be used. We have constructed various index, and the impact was very, very significant. This is another example, National Zakat Index. Oh, yeah. Because now it's still at 3:21, yeah? 3 p.m., right? In UK. In UK. This is another example. Why we construct the National Zakat Index? Because many people question us. If I give you my zakat, what is the impact towards the recipients, towards the mustahik? What is the impact? How many percent of their poverty can be reduced? How many percent of them can be transformed into the muzaki, the zakat payer? And all of our answers are the same. What was our answer? Wallahu a'lam. That is good answer, right? The right answer, right? If you ask something, what is the impact? Allahu a'lam. Yeah, right, you're a good Muslim. But what we do now, before we said Wallahu a'lam, at least you mention some numbers. You mention something and then you say Wallahu a'lam. Still Allah knows the best. Still, but now, before you say Wallahu a'lam, you say something first. That's why we created this National Zakat Index. We try to see, for example, from the perspective of regulation. Why regulation very important? Because the nature of zakat is closely related with the power. خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً in Surah At-Tawbah, verse number 103. تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ صَلَاتَكَ سَكَنٌ لَهُمْ وَاللَّهُ سَمِيعٌ. That's why from economic student I have to say this. Yeah. So there is a link, strong link with the Quran, with the Hadith, and then we derive it and create the index that can reflect this aspect. This is the Islamization that we are doing now. Yeah. And you will not find Michael or something else, the reference. So this is the thing that we need to do. Yeah? Collection, etc. CBS Welfare Index also is there. Etc. Similarly with the National Wakaf Index. National Zakat Index was launched at the end of 2016, and National Wakaf Index was created in 2020 and 2021. We give it as wakaf to Indonesia Wakaf Board. For this, we created together with Prof. Raditya. Yeah. There are 6 dimensions of Wakaf Index, etc. Yeah. Everything. And it is based again on the, for example, if we say why we have outcome factor, outcome and impact. Why the ratio of productive wakaf? Yeah, productive wakaf. Why we put it there as the indicator? Why? Because it is based on the hadith. That the first occurrence in the history when Umar bin Khattab consulted the Prophet Muhammad in the case of Khaybar land, what was the Prophet say? The Prophet said, Ihbis aslaha wa thabbil. If you like, keep the asset itself and you donate the result, the profit, the yield that is earned by that asset. What does it mean? It means that since the day one of the Waqaf, although Waqaf term is not found in the Quran, you will not find any Waqaf term in the Quran, but it's part of the Sadaqah Jariyah. Since the day one, it is already productive. But now, it becomes idle. What we know is cemetery. Yeah, of course, everybody will be, all of us will need cemetery, right? As our final destination in this dunya, as our transit launch, transit launch, before we enter the akhirah. We call it alam barzakh. So we have to make it productive. That's why we derive it and we make it as part of the indicator in order to promote more productive Waqaf projects. And we can do a lot of innovation. Now, in Indonesia, even now, cash Waqaf, alhamdulillah, cash Waqaf, if he's a man, he has a lot of wife. One of them is Sharia Securities Crowdfunding. Now we have the product, cash Waqaf to Sharia Securities Crowdfunding, the capital market. Last month, I was invited by the Securities Commission to share this experience, how to combine the two. Although in terms of number, it's very small. We have 3 projects now, Waqaf and Sharia Securities Crowdfunding in Indonesia. So that's why try to dig everything that is available in the Quran and Sunnah. Try to observe the reality and try to find synthesis. This is what we are doing here, and alhamdulillah, the impact is significant. Since the launch of National Zakat Index in 2016, we can make it 4 times bigger, the National Zakat collection, from 5.02 trillion rupiah, maybe $300 million, to 22 trillion rupiah in the year 2020. 1.2 or 3 billion US dollars. Just within 6 years. And the cash Waqaf collection, after the issuance of National Waqaf Index, we can double the collection of cash Waqaf. Since our president, the 6th president, issued the National Cash Waqaf movement in 2010, the collection until 2018 only 255 billion or 77 million ringgit. In 2018 until 2021, it becomes 855 billion rupiah, 258 million ringgit. I put ringgit there. Yeah. But for this one, for the left side, I forgot to put ringgit. But in the year 2021 until January this year, it becomes 1.7. 514 million ringgit. This is the impact of what? Of the measurement standard. Of course, because of Allah everything, but at least our effort to do that. Because when you can construct something that is relevant with the realities, it will give you direction. Alhamdulillah, we have a chance to exercise. That's why all the Islamic economies should promote that. If we want to change the direction of the country's economic condition towards a better one, let the Islamic economies take the policy decision-making process in the economic sector. So all the cabinet members for the economics sector should be born by the Islamic economists. So we may have a new approach. This is recorded, hopefully not final. But if final, no problem as well. Because this is the time. Similarly, yeah, this is the impact. So alhamdulillah. That's why I'm asking you, I'm requesting you now, we are trying now to do our best. Of course, some of us may be in a different stage, but at least although we are in a different stage, yeah, try to contribute and try our best to provide the solution in building the theories based on the supreme sources of Islam, which are Quran and Sunnah, and try to derive it. We have been taught, yeah, by our beloved lecturer, professor, Sheikh Nakim Alatas. We also learned about Ismail Farouki work. What we are doing, we need to do the action. Try to formulate something. Try to implement the knowledge that we understand in practice, so that it will increase the quality of Islamic economy itself. So by that, I end my presentation. I welcome any suggestion or questions. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for your outstanding presentation, Associate Professor. We can summarize a few things from these presentations. So the Associate Professor Irfan showed us about the oil extract from the NAS. And then this extraction ought to be implemented in the daily activities, in particular in the Islamic economic development. And also, he mentioned about the experience that he had on the indices, several indices in Basnas and Waqf as well. Not to mention about how Muslims just need to be careful about implementing the Qassim Sharia, not just doing taqlid, but also need to be kind of level of I think. So this is the summaries that I can do for this. To make calls. Now I will give the opportunities for the participants who like to ask to our presenter. Here, please, this one. Please give the microphone to our participant. Please, before you ask, please ask your name and then state your question.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
My name is Andi Triawan. I'm student PhD in IIUM Malaysia. Mr. Salkibi, I want to ask about quadrant in TBES index. Yeah. So this is just the sharing. You said that the welfare quadrant 4, if someone getting material, rich material, so rich or spiritual, this one. So why you use rich material or material rich? by the contact rich here. Because when I see many about history, about why you not use kona'an, the word kona'an? Why you use rich? Rich, this is something that difficult. In Islam also, rich. Allah not giving all the humankind rich. Yeah. Because if all of us rich, so who will become the server and workers and so on like that. So this is just sharing. So why not kona'ah material? So if spiritual, it's okay. Because spiritual, yes, we can get it. Yeah. But if material rich, this is so I think difficult. So and when I see in Tafsir Ibn Asir, Hayatan Thayyibah in here not about how much or how much, but kona'ah good. And also in Tafsir Sayyid also, Hayatun Thayyibah wa yanalu halal fil rizq summa mutma'in fil qalb wa kana lahu as-sabr was-shukr war-ridha bima qasam. Amazing. The sharing is the maybe I'm not. Thank you for your
question, and Shopee will answer directly to you.
Yeah. It's a very important question. Why I use the term rich? Don't forget, that should be in one. Materially rich and spiritually rich. That is welfare. Let me ask you, did Abdurrahman bin Auf rich or poor? Which man? Usman bin Affan? Umar bin Khattab?
Strong.
Rich and then poor. Poor by choice. Yeah. So, Qana'ah is another level. Whether he is rich, whether he is poor, materially, he accepted what Allah has given to him. That's why, in the Hayat al-Tayyibah term, as mentioned by Ibn Kathir, the hadith that we cited is on Qana'ah as the third. But don't forget, before Qana'ah, waruziko kafafan, that is the hadith. Okay. So, why we use the term rich? Because rich and poor is a very obvious and clear definition based on certain standard. What should be standard? It can be poverty line. If we use the poverty line standard, so we know below the poverty line will be poor, above the poverty line will not be poor. If we use in Basnas, we apply three lines. We apply the poverty line, official poverty line issued by the government, to compare head-to-head with the government program. The second one, we apply Had Kifaya line. That is the minimum amount in which the number is much bigger, 3-4 times bigger than the poverty line. And the last one, we apply the Nisab line to differentiate Uzaki and Ustaki. Why we use this line, the Nisab line? It is to measure whether our program can transform a Mustahik to become a Uzaki. Whether we are successful in transforming the recipients to the beneficiaries to become the payers. That's why we use to apply the Nisab line. So if the Nisab line is used, who is rich? Those who are above the Nisab line. There's no problem with rich, with poor. The problem is whether the element of spiritual exists or not. Whether the element of spiritual exists or not. So to me, it's not a problem to use the term rich. Nikmal malu solid fil is solid. Right? Does it show poorness? No. It shows richness. Taqwa and rich and pious. The two should be like this. It will be a danger if the two are separated. Similarly, the poor and the pious should also be united, because it will be danger if the two are separated. Of course, the materially rich person and spiritually rich person will be qana'ah, of course. Qana'ah is the end result. Similarly, the poor, when he is pious, he will be a qana'ah person. He will accept whatever Allah has given to him. So the qana'ah is the result. But in the process of development, you need to design a program. And how you design a program? Of course, it will be evaluated by the measurement standard that you apply. So if you put in qana'ah first, then it will be difficult. The development the objective of development may be unclear, because the qana'ah is the expression of someone's spiritual condition, something like that. That's why we put rich and poor. But don't forget, in our model, why we call it model? Actually, because model can be translated in various meaning. Yeah? Model can be translated as a girl walking in the. But model here, because we have quadrant, we have the index. Yeah. We have the quadrant, we have the index. So why do we use the term rich and poor? Just to measure clearly whether we are successful in our program or not. That's why we need it very clear. But when they are in the condition of spiritually rich, they will be automatically qana'ah. Qana'ah is automatically there, whether he is rich or he is poor. You understand my answer? So we don't against the concept of qana'ah, no, because qana'ah is the result. But in the development process, we need to measure it. Because sometimes our conventional economies always challenge us. What is your state of successfulness of the program? What is your indicator? We have a very clear indicator. We have GDP, even now we have happiness index. So in this regard, we will also find the proper answer. So that's so qana'ah actually is the result. Whether you are rich or you are poor, will be qana'ah if you are spiritually rich. But you will not be qana'ah if you are not spiritually rich, because materially rich, not spiritually to the world. These people that create waste, these people that have destroyed our environment. That's now the issue of green economy comes into the picture, not only green economy, now blue economy even. Why destruction exists everywhere? Because of the spiritually poor person. If he is poor, it's a football match. Yeah, if the person spiritually poor and materially poor, he will be hitman in the market. He will walk in the traditional market, ask for the money. This is Ashabul Mas, the hadith, the collector of tax. He will come to the market, traditional market aspect. Give me the money, yeah, give me the security fee, otherwise your property will be destroyed. That is poor people. What happened to them? Because they are spiritually poor. So this is. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the answer. So, I think we set the clock because we have another session with Prof. Dr. Briefing our discussion on this. So, another one. Oh, okay. Prof. Irfan asked to translate all the question and that will be answered via WhatsApp. Okay, thank you. Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. This is Nias from Bangladesh. So I found your sea-based model very exciting and good because nobody talks about the spiritual needs. So my question is, what can we do to popularize this model so that it can be implemented nationally in different Muslim countries? Like at least you have the Zakat Index and the National Waqf Index, but most of the Muslim countries they don't have anything like this. So actually, what should be done? Thank you.
Okay. Next question.
Assalamualaikum. This is the one from IIUM. So we have talked about cash flow and its role for the development of the society and improvement in the society. But my concern is about temporal law and particularly temporal cash law. Why we are not looking at it because it's more beneficial and helpful and accommodating for the society. So what is the status of the temporal law and temporal cash law here in Indonesia and how it can correct so?
Thank you. I want to ask about Zakat and SDGs. Some time ago, I did geometric analysis.
Please show us yourself.
Okay, my name is Samakin. Okay, some time ago, I did geometric analysis, and in the initial analysis, I found unit 13 in relation to Zakat and SDGs. Normally, very few papers that link Zakat with renewable energy. For example, oil and gas, which I found in the paper Oman et al. The topic is establishing oil and gas Zakat in Malaysia. New insight. The vision is International Journal of Islamic Finance. Related to this, I would like to know, has the ideas are still developed, especially in the environment of Zakat studies? What do you think if the idea in the paper is implemented in Indonesia? Such as Zakat for palm oil, Zakat for gold, and also including oil. Is this idea too anti-mainstream? So making it difficult to implement in Indonesia? It's my question. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Please give a moment for assembly.
Thank you, Professor Sophie. I think this is an interesting presentation. Having been enriched because we become studying economics, but I really enjoyed the presentation. You starting on practical stuff so and build some kind of approach, developing methodology, and actually I mentioned people. What I just wrote all the things that methods in people, there are references. I think this is important. I think this the way how we research this to show that God knows that the Islamic only there's a chance to prove it in the global society that Islam really can contribute this economic development be providing various fields. This is like I will know from you, Professor Saudi. Thank you very much. I think that's how we build a scientific case to the world. Let's make it proven. I think this Islamic economy can be one of the solutions to get back to the world. Thank you very much.
I think I have to apologize for the other participants who want to ask because we do have a very strict schedule that we have the schedule actually at the moment. So we will have to please Prof. Professor to beg to answer to address this question. Yeah.
First, of course, you can apply in your country for your research, for instance. Let's say take a case study, a certain project conducted by, for example, since you are in Bangladesh, you must be knowing about Center for Zakat Management of Bangladesh. Contact CEO Muhammad Ayubia is also the business president of Zakat. So you can test this, apply it, with the project of empowerment, done by that institution. This is one thing. And because I have discussed about during the last year, we have national meeting in Dhaka. At the time, all of the figures and institutions in Bangladesh, with the government, together in one occasion, and I was having the honor to share with them about the core principles for zakat, effective zakat management, including the usage of measurement standard like this. So maybe they need some evidence so you can do it. This can be part of your thesis, PhD thesis. Then for the temporary cash flow account, yes, of course it needs more socialization and campaign and education. But this is something that is acceptable in our system. Indonesia acknowledged the existence of temporary cash flow. And some of the product, like cash flow account in school, is basically temporary cash flow account based. Similarly, cash flow account and the share securities for funding, it is also temporary based. I mean, temporary cash flow based. So, although we are open the opportunity for them to make it eternal, I mean, not the temporary. So, it's very good, but again, this needs a lot of education. But what we do is we just provide the alternative, the real project that can be translated or that can be replicated by others. And it will accelerate also the education and socialization of the cash crop concept itself. Yeah, so this is hopefully answering the questions. Zakat with renewable energy, of course, we have some projects maybe. If you are interested, yes, you can do your research in some of our empowerment program. Yeah, like in the village near here in Jambi province, Lubuk Bangkal village. For those from Indonesia, you can Google Lubuk Bangkal. For more than 70 years, had no electricity access. It's considered as among the backward area. Yeah. We call it tertiga. 3T. What happened after Zakat Intervention Program? Within 2 years, we changed that village completely. From the backward now becomes the champion. Yeah. Become the champion and among the one out of top 10, the most beautiful village from from the mountainous village from the Ministry of Tourism. Just Googling it. Transformation is there because of the intervention. And also in some other programs. Yeah. But of course, the difference is when you use zakat, very basic concept is that the recipient must be mustahil. You can do the renewable energy program, yes, you can do, but for zakat, make sure that the direct recipients is the mustahil. If they are not the direct recipients, don't use zakat fund. Use other fund, for example, wakaf. I personally have also written Green Wakaf Framework published by the UNDP. You can download it. Yeah. UNDP has published Green Wakaf Framework. We write it. Yeah. On how we promote wakaf as an instrument to support green economic program of the government. Because now we are having an obligation to reduce the carbon. We have what we call as the NDC. Forget the name, determined carbon. Nationally determined carbon reduction. How much the percentage of the carbon that has to be reduced. Now, next September, we're going to have carbon trading in the capital market, etc. Yeah. So, wakaf can be part of that because blended financing is really needed at the moment. And one of the instruments that have very strong and good potential is wakaf. And the last one, yes, of course, we have produced a paper for this one, for all the models that I've explained, for the index that I've explained. We have paper, articles, journals, as well as the books. Yeah, so it's like for zakat and wakaf, it is publicly open. Yeah, I mean, everybody can access. For you who want to learn about National Wakaf Index, yes, we have already translated into English for the National Wakaf Index 2021. So you can read that one. Yeah, so you can learn deeper what we did with this index and the use of this index for formulating the policy. So everything is there. So it has to be based on the scientific approach, because otherwise people may neglect this one. Without proper methodological approach, our conventional colleagues will reject this one. But when we can present it in a proper way, methodologically correct and accountable, so they will accept this one. And Alhamdulillah, Bureau of Labor, for instance, has been accepted not only by us, but by the Muslim minority countries as well. So this is our big task. I hope by this camp, inshallah, you can be a better man, and you are only also to improve the quality of our Islamic governance. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
Thank you very much for your presentation and the question that you have addressed. I think that we have reached the final of this session talk. Now we will want to move to another session. Will be leads by Prof. Bapak. So I would like to apologize for any mistake from me. Then I think I will close this session, and Jazakumullah for your kind attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So hopefully this session will be just a very short one, where we will be discussing about the presentation of research topic. So basically, we have divided all of you into 10 groups based on the topic of your research proposal. And the 10 group is actually according to the research area. So the first group is the research area is feedback. So the member is Ahmad Hazim, Fakri, Siti Nur Aisyah, and Nurul Huda. So you are included into this group because your basically research proposal are based on this area. So. And then the other group, group 2 is based on practices and growth, yeah, in Islamic banking and finance. Group 3 is based on wakaf and sustainability. You all, I think, have maybe checked, yeah, your respective group because we have actually uploaded this grouping list into the participants kit. Yeah. So the thing is now maybe you can identify who are your group members. So and hopefully after this you can meet and sort of get to know the research proposal in a bit more detail. And if you still have the energy, you can start discussing what will be your presentation. Which will be on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So maybe I will call I will call your name one by one, and then you will raise your hand so that you will know your group members. So Ahmad Hazim, okay, Ahmad Hazim, Siti Nur Aisyah, alright, and then Nurul Huda. Alright, so you all can meet them after this, or maybe you can start, breaking into group now. Group 2, the area is practices and growth in Islamic banking and finance. Amrin, and then Bagus, Ibrahim Omar, alright, and then Muhammad Mirzan. Okay. So then group 3 will be based on the area of welcome and sustainability. Andi Triawan, okay, Asri Nur Rahmi, okay, at the back there, Jawad Ali, right? So, and Winpi Yuliani, okay, so identify your group members here. Then group 4, Charity and Zakat, Bushra, Devi Suryani, okay, in front, Fitria, okay, and then Fitri, row 4, okay. Group 5 on the area of Islamic finance, Rina Zikran, at the back there, Ismail Muhammad, okay, Isa, and then Khairul Anwar, okay. Then 6 will be based on the area of laws and policies, Afaf, and then Muhammad Rizki, okay, and then Malta Musa Shiva. Are you here? Malta at the back. Shamsul Idul Adha. Shamsul Idul Adha. He is not here. Okay, so only 3, yeah? For group 6, only 3. Okay, group 7 on the area of microfinance. So the first one is Markoza, okay? Muhammad Nias, next to him. Nihat Ashraf, alright? Here, the sister. Nevi Hasnita. Nevi, okay, at the back. And then group 8, Islamic economics. Nanda Maulida Yani, alright? Puji Sucia, Sukmaningrum. Okay, at the back, yeah? Yakubu Benedicta, right? And then Rizki Putra Utama. He's not here, right? So also 3 members in the group. Group 9, current issues and trends. Shelby Lukito, okay, Shelby. Soleh Hassan Wahid, okay, perfect. Irhas Rizki, right? Nilam Sari, maybe not here, Nilam Sari. Okay, so group 10, these are the participants that did not actually submit proposal, so they are put in one group. And you have to come up with a topic, like research topic basically, and figure out what you want to present. So Isra, this is Dr. Isra, right? So I'm not sure whether you want to join the group or not, Dr. Isra. No. So you are exempted, maybe, yeah? Adam also is not here. Adam Mude is not here. Chutdian Fitri, okay, and then Rosa Hazli. Okay. Maybe what you all can do, because this group only has 2 members, so I think you can join the group that has 3 members. Yeah. So instead of thinking about new research topic, you all join the other group. Okay, so that is easier. So, since you all actually wrote different research topic, so you all can actually share the topic that you have written or you all have prepared. So it's up to you whether you want to select one of the proposals that has been submitted or written, or you want to create a new one based on the area given. Yeah. So since we do not have enough time, so maybe you select, let's say, the one of the topics submitted, and then you improve on it. Yeah, so that will be easier because basically the time is limited for all of you to discuss, and then we have a very tight schedule. Yeah, so I think that would be the best strategy lah. Yeah. To select and then improve on it. So I think that is all that I want to brief you all on the presentation, research presentation. So any questions on research presentation?
Almost time allotted for every presentation. And should everyone first present or anyone?
The time, let's say maximum of 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes. So maybe we allow 2 minutes of question answer. It is maybe one of you, all of you should be speaking. Yeah. So divide the sections in a proposal so that each of you will have a chance to present. Okay. Right. So any other questions? So if you can ask any of us whenever you have to make us specifically, not only in this session. So in terms of the program for tomorrow, I was told that the Musala is quite far, right? And the committee is trying to get a place. Oh, I see. Hopefully it will not rain. Yeah? Okay. So the prayer area will be close to the swimming pool. And hopefully we don't have people swimming there when we pray. Okay? Okay. 5:15. Subuh 5:15. Okay? And then after Subuh, the tazkirah will be given by Dr. Ahmad Lubis. Yeah? And then we'll have, do we need to appoint the imam for the Subuh prayer? Maybe one of the participants can volunteer. Any volunteer? Dr. Isra has led the prayer just now, right? So give a chance for other person, or I think I prefer the participant to participate. Yeah. So Nias can we get tomorrow? Yeah. So to be a leader, you have to lead the prayer. Okay. So Nias will lead the prayer tomorrow, and then we have morning exercise. I need a volunteer also for morning exercise after the tazkirah. Just stretching, light exercise, yeah. So instead of just sitting, and then listening, so we move our muscle as well. Risky, So volunteer? Any volunteer? So it can be running on a spot, so it's okay. A simple one. Yeah, boleh. What's your name again? Andi. Okay. So Brother Andi will lead, the morning exercise. Then after that we will take shower, freshen up, and then have our breakfast, and then the first stop will be at 8:30 tomorrow, by Dr. Muhammad Nizam, Dr. Muhammad Nizam at the back. Okay, so I think one more thing, the claim. So the claim will I think will start with the claim, So basically you all will bring whatever that I have put in the WhatsApp for me to be releasing the payment basically. Alright. So I will be carrying with me the cash. So whenever you see me, you can approach me and show your documents basically. So I think that's all of the briefing for tonight. So okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.